Welcome everyone to the Cat's Meowth and a featured Friday. Today we're featuring another card that was requested from a viewer, Regigigas Level X from Stormfront. Now, this card was first printed in the Japanese set Intense Fight in the Destroyed Sky, which is what turned into the English Stormfront set. And I agree that they have much better names than we typically end up with. Now, in addition to being featured in Stormfront, it was reprinted as a Diamond and Pearl Black Star promo, and while the attacks are the same, it received a different artwork. Now, the Level X were an interesting type of ultra rare. They acted as a sort of boost for basic Pokemon, but could only be played if the basic was in the active position, although the Level X itself still counts as a basic Pokemon. In standard evolutions, the previous cards were pretty much useless, but unless you had, there was a trainer that allowed you to use previous moves. But for the level X, the basic, or the original basic, I'm not quite sure what the appropriate term for that would be, could be very important as you could use the previous attacks on that first card. Now, I was asked to review this card because of its importance in TCG history, and I believe it was around 2010 when Regigigas decks were a fairly common threat at tournaments. There were a few different variants, but the one I want to talk about today is the lock version, which I think was the most popular version. It was combined with the Mesprit that had the power to prevent other Pokepowers from being used in the next turn. And as Luxchamp was one of the most popular decks during this era, Mesprit would have prevented Luxray from bringing up bench Pokemon, the Garchomp from healing, and its own Uxie from drawing power. Now, there are many other common Pokepowers in this format that could be hurt by Mesprit, and there were a lot of other decks that revolved around the Mesprit lock. But what's great about Regigigas is that his Pokepower allows you to sacrifice one of your own Pokemon to put 2 energy onto Regigigas, as well as heal 8 damage counters. So ideally, you would knock out a Mesprit, then use a card like Pokemon Rescue to get it back from the discard pile, and use it again to continue this lock while powering up Regigigas. The attack itself was actually pretty strong for its time. 100 could knock out many support and basic Pokemon, and with cards that added additional damage like Crobat with Flash Bite, Expert Belt, and Plus Power, it could knock out stronger Pokemon in one shot as well. Now, this deck also ran other disruption cards like Giratina that forced you to draw or shuffle in and draw only 4 cards, Judge, a supporter that made you do the same thing, all sorts of other stuff. So, being a level X, Regigigas, like I said earlier, can use the attacks of the first basic Pokemon, and Regigigas decks had a few different options. Now, the most popular, let's see, I think I'll set it right here, was this Gigaton Punch Regigigas from Legends Awakened. Its ability removes special conditions. I think you have to attach an energy from your hand to activate it, and that's very important because if Regigigas level X is affected by a special condition, then you can't use its Pokepower. Now, its Gigaton Punch, its attack, is pretty excellent too, as it can snipe the bench, finishing off Pokemon that might have retreated after Regigigas level X attacked. But there was also another popular Regigigas. This is the Drag Off promo. It's a Diamond and Pearl Black Star promo. And as part of its first attack, it could bring up a Pokemon from the bench before doing damage. Now, while its second attack is costly, though just as costly as Regigigas level X's Giga Blaster, Regigigas' level X's, sorry, they kind of get confusing, Giga Blaster could not be used consecutively. So unless you could retreat, which for a cost to retreat, you probably have to use something like Warp Point. Drag Off was another good attack to kind of switch things up, or if you just needed to do a fair amount of damage, Giga Hammer doing 80 was pretty nice too. So I hope that everyone has enjoyed this week's Featured Friday. It was kind of nice to go over a deck that I personally didn't play with. I don't think I played with this at all. I don't think I had the cards to, but I do remember encountering it a few times in tournaments. So the lock deck did work fairly well. Now, I am keeping a list of all of the cards that have been suggested by viewers in the past videos as cards they would like to see come around on Featured Fridays, and I'm going to be continuing that list. So if you have a card that you would like to see featured in a future Featured Friday, say that 10 times fast, please let me know and I will add your card to the list. I can't promise that I'm going to get to everyone, but I am sure going to try. So again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this week's Featured Friday, and we'll stay tuned for tomorrow, where I believe our sorry, my tongue is all tied up now from all the Regigigases and Featured Fridays. My Steam Siege booster box should be arriving by tomorrow, and we'll have that for a nice Saturday video. So I hope everyone will stay tuned.